All right guys, the Canards are finally on the car. I'm gonna just go over the time lapse of how I installed them and just do a quick voiceover because there's not a lot involved in it, but it took a long time. So I'm just gonna shorten it a bit, voice over what I did so you get the idea. Then after that, you'll know exactly how I put them on. Something I didn't mention in the voiceover is that between the Canard, the face of the Canard that interfaces with the car and the car itself, there's a thin layer of, it's kind of like neoprene foam that I got off McMaster car. That just protects the paint and make sure there's no rubbing, and it's a nice soft interface. So even if there's some minor surface inconsistencies, you still get a good mate and surface adhesion. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm super excited to show you how I did this. I think they turned out pretty good, and I hope you agree.
All right, so the first thing I did was take the front bumper off. It's super easy. There's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube out there about it, so you can just look that up. I'd recommend taking pictures of the little pop clips whenever you take them out, but it comes off super easy, maybe 15 minutes. There you go. Now I'm just kind of locating the Canard and making sure it lines up with where the 3D model, how I made the 3D model for it to line up. I used a couple reference points like the side marker, and there's a little texture change on that air intake where the air comes through the bumper and into the wheel well. And then I used JB Weld to attach these adhesive mounted nut plates that worked really well, and I left the screws in there to make sure that they stayed secure for a few minutes. It is a quick bonding JB Weld that I use, so after a few minutes I used painter's tape to keep it secure, and I removed the screw so the screw didn't end up getting glued in there, so you can see it right there. And then that way, you know, I can remove the screw, it doesn't get glued in, and I can move on to the other side. So right here, I put some painter's tape back down to make it easier to mark the reference points. The rear corner was pretty much right at the top of that side marker, and so that one was fairly easy to locate. I used some digital calipers to make sure that it was exactly where it needed to be. And then you can see right there I'm using them to measure from that texture change on that air intake scoop doodad. Just spent a lot of time making sure it was lined up and that everything was exactly the same as the other side. This was a earlier Canard I made. It was the same size, but I didn't like the finish and the way it came out, so I'm just using it to using it as a reference. So mixing up the JB Weld, and here's more measuring, and finally drilling the hole and removing the Canard. And then after this, I used a small sander to just kind of buff the inside, and then I wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol to make sure it was super clean. I didn't show it on the other side, but I did that on both sides. Then putting through the M5 screws that go into the nut plates, so I can screw on the nut plates and make sure that they're perfectly centered. I did that with both of them. So here I'm doing it with the front one now, putting the JB Weld on and then screwing down the nut plate. And then you just put the bumper back on. I think I left the painter's tape on there just because it's not going to hurt anything. But yeah, the bumper was super easy to put back on, just as easy it was to take off. If you take pictures of the little pop clips, it's super easy to look at those and make sure that they all go back into the right spot. So there you have it. That was the whole process of putting it on. It was pretty easy. It was just a lot of measuring.
One other little thing I wanted to do was put one of these stickers on. Since I've been shooting with Fujifilm recently, I thought it would look kind of cool to go on this rear window like I have on the other side. So I'm thinking the red is a little small, and I think the white will look better anyway. So let's go ahead and go with the white. Put it right there, maybe a little lower. I was kind of inspired by Akira's motorcycle. He has the Cannon emblem on it. There we go. I think that was the right size and the right color. I think it looks pretty good. Huh? Not bad, huh? So you got the Annex, Varus, and the donut on this side. Might take the donut off. I don't know. I still really like donut media, but they've kind of gone to Gen Alpha style content that's just, they're always yelling. You know. So there you have it. That's how I put the canards on. Now I'll probably keep working on the design for the actual wing. I keep saying it'll take a little more time, but it is going to take a little more time. The mounting mechanic is what I'm having the most trouble with, figuring out how I want to mount it, taking into account the curvature of the trunk. I have a good 3D model of the car and a 3D scan as well. I'm kind of stuck in analysis paralysis at the moment. Hopefully I can figure that out sooner rather than later. I'm going to try to dedicate a couple hours to it every weekend to work on the model. There's a few other details about the construction of the wing itself that I still need to work on, but it's coming along. I'm making progress on it, just not enough to make a video about yet. So be sure to be kind to someone today, and I will see you next time. Peace.